Phoneybeetlemaniacxs here, and which once again it doesn't really matter because I'm now going to turn Raoul a new one. Yes, Atheismdefended, you're now on my shit list. Because now you've proven yourself to be no better than Calperm Pisso. Yes, Raoul. Jack Ketch, that absolute knob jockey who never puts his name up, but we all think he's you, right? And I'm going to put the blame on you because you featured it in your goddamn video. This is why Robert Sapolsky is wrong. He has never presented this in any sort of peer-reviewed form. Every time he does, he puts up Gallup polls, reliable information there, and he says, oh, rationality, defining rationality for me. Irrationality is not a medical term. It's not a psychological term. It is not a term that is used in psychology. It's a personal statement of logical thinking. Therefore, it has no bearing on medical facts. There you go, Raoul. This is why Robert Sapolsky is taken seriously by nobody. Let's go even further into it. The Nazis were Christians, yes. So what? What does that prove? Nothing. It proves that the Nazis were Christian. And what? The Tamil Tigers were atheists. What does that prove? Nothing. It just proves that atheists and Christians can be shit sometimes. Welcome to the human race, aka us. Sometimes the human race can be shit, no matter what labels we put on each other. Well, of course, truth and facts aren't things that go through your mind, are they, Raoul? Let's go even further into your piece of shit video, shall we? Where you think, you have now gone on to the thing of anchor miters and fleas and all this sort of stuff. Right, when Richard Dawkins does that, he looks like a moron. Alright, here's why. You cannot avoid legitimate criticism by labelling those who criticise you as fleas. It makes you look dishonest, it makes you look like a liar, and it makes you look evasive because you will not address criticism. Because facing criticism is what makes you intellectual. Even if you personally don't think the criticism is valid, that's the way you defeat it, is by addressing it. And the fact that Richard Dawkins has never gone up against people like William Lane Craig or people like that, even if I'm not a fan of William Lane Craig, but I'd like to see that debate just to see what it'd be like. But of course, you don't understand this because you live in Raoul world where reality doesn't really enter into your brain because you seem to think you have the monopoly of what makes a good debate. What makes a good debate, Raoul, is that you present your sources, you present your arguments, and you let the other person go, then you argue against the points they've argued. That is what's called a debate. That's how most debates, when you see how they're done properly and academically, which is said they're academically minded, are done. Okay, so in what way are you academically minded? Okay, the two times we've faced off each other before, you've proved yourself to be non-academically minded because I've presented both in my video. Both my videos to Axe and in my response to your claims that religion is a mental illness, links to pages you can go to which debunks everything you say. Now, to this point that you talk about OCD. Now, OCD is a disorder which we can track. There's not that many OCD sufferers in the world. Okay? Again, do you even know how many people suffer it worldwide? That's less than how many religious people are there. The numbers are vastly outnumbered. And this is why it doesn't make any sense. Okay? Religion is a choice. You choose to be religious. You don't choose to have OCD. And this is something that you can't get through your tiny little brain, Raoul. Is that the fact that you can't choose to have OCD, you can't choose to have schizophrenia, you can't choose to have any mental illness or affliction. You can choose to be religious. So you even admit this yourself, that you chose not to be religious anymore, which is fine, that's your choice to make. You cannot choose to have schizophrenia. You cannot choose to have OCD. You cannot choose to have any mental ailments. You don't suddenly become well when you stop being religious. It doesn't work that way. If you're schizophrenic when you're religious, you're schizophrenic when you're atheist. If you have OCD when you're a theist, you have OCD when you're an atheist. It does not go away when you stop believing in a deity. I mean, this is what makes you an absolute numbskull, Raoul. You can call me a flea if you want, but I'm just presenting actual facts how the real actual world works. Now let's move on to Spartan mindset, shall we? Because I know that he's got an arse whipping coming his way from me. Right, first of all, taking Jesus camp as any sort of representation of Christianity whatsoever makes you look like a dishonest Burke. Right? Secondly, Becky Fisher and her school of thought has been criticised by a lot of people. Most of those people, majority of those people, are Christians, including me. I've been very critical of Becky Fisher and her school of Christian preaching and the way that she has her children, wailing about like the rest of some sort of Nuremberg rally. I think is as far as a way you can get for Christ's message as possible. But you call her mentally ill. No, she's not mentally ill. She's a fraud. She's worse than me. Again, and if she's mentally ill, why are you bothering with her? It's a mental illness. You can't be bothered with that. Secondly, the people aren't delusional. You cannot make sweet intent about delusional. Are you talking about delusional in the sense of mental illness? Then no, they're not. You cannot have delusions without mental illness. And if you're talking about the way that Richard Dawkins uses it, he uses it incorrectly, as I pointed out wrong many times. If he's talking about the popular usage, which has come on, then no. Okay? Delusional in that way has nothing to do with mental illness. It's a personal presentation of somebody's mental way they're judging the evidence and the facts. Okay. Which is not a medical, it's a personal condemnation and has no basis in logical or ethical or academic circles. It makes them look, in short, to be a prat, and that's what you look like, Spartan mindset. Second of all, let's go into the things you name. You say, oh, well, this is what you get. You get witch burnings, genocide, stuff like that. And all I have to say is that, right, genocides, really, do we have to do this again? But also with Christianity, you get democracy. Also with Christianity, you get the freedom of slaves. The Quakers were responsible for the freedom of slaves Spartan mindsets. You get charitable organisations are Christian. Yeah, you see how you look when people bring up things that make you look like a liar. It's not very good, no, is it, Spartan mindset? And Jack Ketch, my. You say that most Christians want a theocracy. They don't. Most Christians in America are secularists. Yeah, they don't want the church and state union being there because they understand that for their church to have the freedoms that they would like, there has to be a separation there. Otherwise, the government can tell the church what to do as much as the church can tell the government what to do. So that's why they like there to be a split. Now, I will be watching this hangout and taking it apart later because every time you talk about mental illness, you show how much you don't understand how mental illness actually works. And this has nothing to do with you being an atheist. This has nothing to do with you being a alleged free thinker. This has nothing to do with any of that. This has to be you totally inept at talking about a medical subject. And again, I would love for you to present me an article presented by the APA, the American Psychological Association, or even better, the British School of Psychologists, who agree with any of your nonsense. So what I'll be doing is that I'll try and get somebody who's from the APA or the to look over these videos that you do, and let them go for. I won't be prompting them to be anything. There'll be people that you can look up, and there'll be legitimately people they can do. But I'd like to know what they think of your videos, and your claims about OCD and stuff like that. I'm actually going to try and get in contact with the British your OCD sufferers organisations and people like that, and see how they think about you linking their particular ailment to religious belief. I'm sure they'll be very happy and enjoyable about that. But in future, Raoul, whenever you make a claim, shut your mouth. Because now, an arse whooping is coming your way, and I'm the one with the boot.